Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and we've found out the information that we need to know for the upcoming DLC. It's actually coming on the 15th, which is Wednesday, rather than Tuesday the 14th, which is when we would normally get it. We'll talk about that later on. But I figured I'd make a chilled out discussion video where we'll go through the announcement, talk through a few things that we could expect, and just have a bit of a chill and a chat about it. So there's obviously the video, which I'm not going to play because Rockstar can be a bit funny about that, but you'll see various stills of the video throughout this video as well. Introducing The Contract, a new GTA Online story featuring Franklin Clinton and friends. Get ready for a new music adventure with Dr. Dre, plus new music and much more coming December 15th. So I feel like in 10 years ago, this would have been story DLC. But obviously everything is put into online now. My only hope is that the cost of entry, obviously we're probably going to have to buy something new, a new building or something like that. I hope the cost of entry isn't too high so that new players coming back to the game are going to still be able to access this without having to spend too much. Honestly, I think this could be quite popular. It could bring back quite a few people who played story and did GT Online a little bit, but not too much because, Franklin Clinton is back. He's one of the main characters of the story. And we've got Lamar, we've got Chop as well. It just feels like because they're actually doing that, there's a high chance that this is going to be quite successful. And they're kind of blending the GTA Online side with a story DLC side, but we'll talk about that. In the years since he and his accomplices knocked over the Union Depository, renowned Los Santos hustler Franklin Clinton has been making moves of his own. Welcome to F. Clinton and Partner, a new celebrity solutions agency catering to the Vinewood elite in need of solutions to high society problems. Do you know what? I kind of like the idea that Franklin has taken this route. He's kind of, being a relatively legitimate businessman, but for the Vinewood elite, and it fits in perfectly in a way. And I guess we, as the GT Online protagonist, are going to be the partner that is mentioned in that. Franklin needs two things: a reliable partner, probably us, and a big-ticket, high-profile client. With your longtime LS contact and newly aspiring cannabis entrepreneur Lamar Davis making the connection, you can be the partner that helps Franklin take the business to the next level. Okay, so it already said that we're going to be the partner. And yeah, obviously Dr. Dre is in there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, DJ Pooh has been reaching out to Franklin about an exciting potential client, his close friend Dr. Dre. Lost in the shuffle on his way to Cayo Perico last year, we did see him in the Cayo Perico cutscene. It turns out Dr. Dre's phone isn't just missing, it's in the wrong hands. Not only that, but the phone also contains the hottest property in the city, new unreleased music from Dr. Dre himself. This could be the big break your agency needs. Get ready for a wild and hilarious ride through Los Santos, from the mean streets of Franklin's old neighborhood to the hottest parties in the city, from debaucherous mansions to the offices of the FIB and everywhere in between, as you join Franklin, expert hacker Imani, Chop the dog, and crew to secure Dr. Dre's precious tracks and return them to their rightful owner. We see a few things here that we're going to be getting new. I'll show those and talk about those in more detail as well. Stay tuned to the Rockstar Newswire in the coming days for more info on The Contract, arriving December 15th to GTA Online, including details of an eclectic new radio station from some very special guest hosts, huge first-of-their-kind updates to existing radio stations, including a ton of new and unreleased exclusive tracks from Dr. Dre, and a heavy-hitting lineup of artists, plus additional opportunities for agency work, including choice hits for players willing to get their hands dirty, plus new weapons, vehicles, and much more. And that's the end of the Newswire post. So, this is almost like a heist over a phone. Like, I get the impression that this is going to be it's like a mini heist, but not a heist. It's going to be have those heist style elements of maybe setup missions, going through a story. We've had some level of sort of story missions before, maybe like the yacht missions. They have a sort of a little bit of a story running through them. Same for the casino missions. And then the heists themselves obviously have a sort of storyline going through each heist. But maybe there'll be a little bit more focus on this one, on that story, and the fact that it might be a bit more of a blend between story mode, story style missions, and obviously the fact that it's online. And like I said, they're bringing back the big guns a little bit by bringing in Franklin. He is one of the three main characters, and we've seen Trevor a decent amount in GT Online, but that's kind of it, and not really for a long time have we had any kind of major mainline character. So bringing Franklin back, hopefully it turns out to be an engaging story. It said hilarious, so hopefully there's a bit of comedy there as well. Hopefully the missions are interesting, whether there'll be any replayability when in terms of how much money you'll make from it, who knows. But I kind of like to see them doing this a bit more focus on story and giving us a bit of a blend of sort of a story mode DLC and obviously GT Online. Obviously nothing is going to replace a proper full-blown story DLC, but this is probably the best thing that we're going to get. So if we look at some of the images that are on that newswire, we've got the compact EMP launcher, which is made by Coil Arms Division. Interestingly, Coil obviously the manufacturer that make the Voltic, the Rocket Voltic, and they're definitely going into EMP weapons at this point, so that should be interesting. And then we've got the Agency, which looks to be another sort of place to buy. We have things like the bunker, hangars, nightclubs, all that kind of stuff. This is just going to be another one of those things. Again, like I said earlier, I hope the base cost of it isn't too much. Obviously, we're going to be the partner that's probably going to be helping Franklin to, purchase and fund this building to get his business started, helping the elite. We'll obviously be the partner that's helping him do that. And then I imagine there's going to be missions beyond that as well. But yeah, hopefully it's not going to be too much for those who are, because I imagine there are going to be plenty of people coming back to the game because it's Franklin. And yeah, they're probably going to have to spend some money on shark cards, let's just put it that way, to be able to even access this content. So the Endless Jubilee as well is a new gun, a new weapon. And the reason I say gun there is because I just noticed that it's got guns on the front of it. So it's obviously armored as well. We'll see whether that's going to be raceable with the guns disabled or whether it's going to be like the Ardent where you just can't use it in races. Obviously, I'll be testing it anyway. And I will be doing a live stream as well for all of this on the Wednesday like I normally do. I'll talk more about that later on. But yeah, stay tuned for all the vehicle testing for all the new cars, because the cars that they've shown here, it's not going to be the only cars that we get. We're going to get plenty of other stuff too. The stun gun also is looking like it's making its way to GT Online. The stun gun, I'm pretty sure it's the stun gun that exists. This isn't new, right? This has been in GTA 5 since 2013. But now they're finally putting it in GTA Online. I guess it makes sense because we've got those drones now that can stun people, I believe. So I guess they're just putting the gun in because why would they keep it out? The Armory, which is probably going to be kind of like the bunker aspect of the Agency. It feels like a lot of the buildings and a lot of the things that we buy with these DLCs are all following exactly the same pattern. We have the sort of the main business at the top, like the arcade. This feels like it's the arcade, but in a different setting. So we got the arcade on the top, which is kind of like the front-facing side of the Agency, and then we've got the bunker on the bottom, which for the arcade lets you do the casino heist, and for this probably lets you do the missions that are tied to it and getting back Dr. Dre's phone. So that'll be the sort of the basement, I guess, of the Agency. And then we've got another new car, the Jubochi Champion. Again, it looks like it's armoured. Whether it'll have guns available for that as well. Maybe we'll see some of these vehicles be more of the armoured variety rather than just your classic race cars and things that you're going to, regular vehicles. Obviously, we've just had the Tuners DLC with a lot of sort of new additions. Maybe we'll see something like that with some of these new cars, but maybe focus on the armor side. We'll have to wait and see. And one other new car that I wanted to mention that we've at least seen, and this is in the trailer, is this. It looks like I don't know, is it a Pegassi or it reminds me of like a cross between a Tempesta and a Nero Custom, maybe. Like it's got cues from both of those, but looks like we're going to be getting a new supercar, which is going to be the first new supercar for a while now. Obviously, there's going to be plenty of other cars, I imagine, as well added, but these are the 3 that we've actually seen. So, yeah, at least 1 new supercar. But I imagine maybe they'll add some more. And we'll see how they do around the track, as always. And for Top Speed, just stay tuned for the testing videos. And obviously that was taken around the mansion area. This mansion, I think we're going to be going through a few different locations as part of the story missions for this DLC. It even says that, we start sort of in the hood and then, explore from mansions to FIB offices, things like that. So I am hopeful that the story aspect of this is going to be fairly involved, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't think we're going to necessarily be able to be buying any of these mansions or having any sort of interiors for these things, at least. Speaking of new interiors, though, it does seem like there's at least some new interiors going on for like a recording area, recording booth, recording studio, which is interesting. Whether we'll be able to interact with that, who knows, or whether it's just used for sort of some cutscenes or something, and where that's going to be located, I don't know. Is it going to be in the agency? Well, again, we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's fair to say that one of Rockstar's strengths, even throughout GTA Online, has been the interiors that they've made. They've always been really high quality, so hopefully we'll be able to, do something with this. And continuing the interior theme, we also, of course, have new garage spaces, new garage slots. With it, again, probably just exactly the same as the arcade. You'll go to a certain part of the agency and you'll be able to be met with your cars, maybe a 10-car garage, something like that. Again, that's kind of par for the course at this point. It does feel very like arcades with a different story above it instead of the casino heist. That's the way I'm thinking of it, at least right now. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised and not majorly excited, because I never get excited for GTA DLCs these days. I've been burned so many times over the years of covering this game. But it feels like, especially with Dr. Dre tied to it, they're probably going to want to make sure that they do this right. The fact that they're even bringing back Franklin in the first place shows that they're putting a lot into this one. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy with the prices, because they know people are going to want to access this content and maybe will be willing to buy a shark card, especially around the Christmas time, to be able to do that and it kind of think of it as a story mode DLC that they're paying for via shark cards. I can see them. So I can kind of see them maybe trying to be a bit cheeky with the prices, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they're not. One of the interesting points that I've seen about this screenshot is the You Own Los Santos image that Franklin has in the picture frame. That comes from his old room where he had Los Santos Owns You. So and you can see how he's ripped off the S on owns. So it's good to see Franklin back. We can see Chop in the bottom corner there as well. It's nice to see him, and hopefully it's kind of like showing a good ending for his story, and that he's going to be successful and totally fine going on into the years, because we're sort of 8 years after the events of GTA 3 at this point. I'm pretty sure GTA Online is now set in this day and age, even though when we first got GTA Online it was set before the story. That's not the case anymore. So yeah, I'm pleasantly excited for it. Hopefully the missions are going to be not too bad, and as always I'm going to be covering it as much as I can. All the new cars will obviously be getting tested. I don't know when. Obviously be patient, as always. I say that every time, but just show some patience, because testing cars does take some effort, and there might be cases where I can't test the cars if some of them aren't usable in races. But I'll be testing all the cars for lap time and top speed as soon as I can. On the day that the DLC is released, which is Wednesday the 15th, I'll be streaming. Kind of surprising, I forgot to mention that. It's kind of surprising that it's releasing on a Wednesday. DLCs have always released on either Tuesday or Thursday, most of the time Tuesday. So maybe something went wrong and they're just a day late or something, or they had to match up with Dr. Dre's schedule or something like that. But yeah, it'll be the Wednesday. I'll be streaming at sort of 9 a.m. UK time on Twitch, and then I'll move over, once I'm done with that stream and we figured everything out, I'll move over to YouTube and do a stream here to sort of round everything up in a much shorter form. But if you want to see everything as quickly as possible, as early as possible, as soon as things are available to download, come to the Twitch stream. It's twitch.tv/Bruffy1322. I'll try to get the information as early as I can on the drip feed cars as well, so you can see what's still to come, because they always hold cars back for the forthcoming weeks. And yeah, then I'll get to testing, and that'll be pretty much that. You know, it's the usual stuff for GTA DLCs these days, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, and hopefully the missions are entertaining and interesting to play at the very least. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the Twitch stream on Wednesday morning. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.